So, there was a Master of the Universe test screening, and there's this information, which has kind of just been revealed online, and then I know someone that went to watch it as well. So, two sources. One is John Campier's here, and then I've got my own source that has seen this movie. So, we'll get into this first. Master of the Universe first reaction is revealed as test screening reportedly took place. This was released yesterday, so it was last night now. Or they're saying tonight. And it did happen. Reportedly, it did happen. 100%. It happened. So, let's have a look. What they say, and then I'll tell you what my source said, which I've got loaded up on my phone. So, as Master of the Universe fans anxiously await a first look at some footage from the upcoming live-action movie, the first trailer will be released fairly soon. That's like around the corner. Reports coming in that test screenings were held last night. So according to He-Mania, the test screenings are taking place on both coasts of the United States, New Jersey and California. And it's not quite a finished version of the movie with some incomplete VFX, which I'll get into in a second. Those lucky enough to attend will most likely be sworn to secrecy. Though, of course, people leak stuff anyway. So, John Campier said, quote, I talked to somebody who has seen He-Man, who has seen it in its early stages, and they said it's amazing, which I can corroborate, at least with what my source said. This isn't somebody who's got any dog in it. This isn't somebody that has anything to benefit from it. They said it's amazing. They said they were totally shocked, completely surprised, and they said it's amazing. Now, that is actually the similar feedback, to be fair. So, basically, my source was a mega fan from being a child, and they were very much looking forward to seeing this movie. They're very much looking forward to what Travis Knight could deliver, and they just said categorically the movie is pretty entertaining, but it leans very heavy into the comedy. So, I guess in the atmosphere of everything being dark and dour, that might be a shock to some people, but it's very, very entertaining, very comedic. They lean very heavy into the comedy factor, which I quite like the sound of that. You know, I think that sounds pretty cool, to be fair. But yeah, it leans very heavy into comedy. There's a lot of humour in this movie, resulting in the tone feeling much lighter than expected, which I guess is just what your preconceived notions are going into the film, right? Like, who knows what people were expecting. You know, to say it's lighter than expected doesn't really mean anything. It just means what you went into thinking. So, but basically very, very comedic, very light. The movie does have plenty of heart and a great deal of action. There's a lot of action in this movie. Not only that, there's very impressive fight choreography, apparently. So this sounds great. Now, I'd heard in the early stages of development, I knew someone that worked on the movie, and they said it was super camp, and I was like, oh, that could be a disaster. But this sounds great. Like, this sounds very, very positive. But they did say, yeah, the fight choreography was good, so that's brilliant. That's nice to hear. Character designs, very faithful to the toys. Very faithful to the toys, right down to the weapons and the vehicles. So if you're expecting it to be a grand departure from the toys, nope. Apparently it's pretty much bang on the money. Apparently it's bang on what the toys look like, which is great. Again, it's kind of what you want, really. What else? I've got to be quite careful with what I say on these things now. I've had a few copyright claims, so I've got to be careful. It feels like a true cinematic translation of the original designs from the costumes to the sets. Now, I presume the set pieces aren't just set pieces, and they are actually, you know, also green screen. But apparently it's a very faithful adaptation. What else can I say? So one of the things that people, I guess, would be a little bit concerned by is the fact that he's on Earth. So I think that's a fair you know, Prince Adam's on Earth. Now, that's not a massive spoiler. They've revealed that already. Like, there's the set photos, and it's long been revealed that that was the case. So, I think that's interesting. It's not overly... It's kind of contrived, but not massively contrived. I think it's a satisfying reason why he's on Earth, is what I will say, without revealing too many spoilers. So, I think that's fine. Like, what I know of it, it's not a massively contrived reason for him being on Earth. Which I think is okay. What else? Also, that's played for laughs, by the way. The fact that he's on Earth is quite comedic. There's some very comedic elements about his earthly lifestyle, which I won't say too much. The sword choreography is fantastic. So there's that. Sword choreography is brilliant. The sort of modernization of He-Man as a whole is done very, very well. Apparently, Nicholas Galitzine, the individual that plays He-Man, he looks the part. He looks bang on. He looks great as He-Man and Prince Adam, apparently. So that's good. Obviously. Apparently, Jared Leto is good as Skeletor, which is surprising because he's dog shit and everything else. So that's good. Like, apparently Jared Leto is great as Skeletor. So there's that. My source said that he's basically channeling a Tim Curry almost, which I think is quite cool. Almost a cross between Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror and Darkness from Legend, which I think that kind of works as a Skeletor comparison. So that's fine. Yeah. Practical effects. His face is CGI. So they'll reveal that. But apparently it's really good. So there's that. Basically, my source really enjoyed the film. Judging by the reception of everyone else. So this is important. It was received like really positively. Pretty much everyone else at the screening liked it. So that's great. My source actually said, yeah, it's basically the potential to be a massive hit. The crowd seemed to love it. They might have laughed at more of the jokes than my source individually did, but it felt like it won people over. There's tons of Easter eggs for fans, including references to internet memes. Hopefully it's the He-Man laugh. Oh, can you imagine that? I'd love that. So that's cool. What else? There's also a few references to the movie Highlander, apparently, including an action sequence set to Queen's Princes of the Universe. Basically, it's just a really good fun time. So I can corroborate what John Campea, however you say his name, corroborate what he says. My source saw it as well. So apparently, it's really good fun, and yeah, might be one to watch, basically.